Hola, y'all. My name is Jenna W. Flack, Doctor of Pharmacy and Advanced Fellow of Anti-Aging Metabolic and Functional Medicine, board certified healthcare practitioner of anti-aging. And today we're going to have a really quick discussion about one of my favorite things ever. This molecule is so important to me personally and professionally. So a review and discussion of natural molecular balance in contrast to the substituted and modified structures with me, and we're going to be talking about progesterone today. So progesterone, and what I've done here is try to make it really, really clear that progesterone, O-N-E, progesterone is what we're talking about. So why do I need progesterone? What about the Women's Health Initiative studies? What's different about natural progesterone? And what is the aim for balance with progesterone? Are some things we're going to be touching on today. So progesterone has these functions as a natural molecule. And I think that maybe we're just not cognizant of the way that our body is working, is metabolizing things, and it's getting messages about how to behave in different situations to maintain a homeostasis through hormones. And progesterone is what we would call our calming hormone. It gives us some space to think, to adapt, and to balance our other more active or driven hormones. This is going to give us some more space, and you'll see why from here. We're looking at the functions. Okay, so progesterone balances estrogen. It can have a positive effect on sleep. It helps to build bone, prevents anxiety, irritability, and mood swings. It helps maintain bladder function, relaxes the smooth muscle of the gut to aid in breaking down food, lowers LDL. It promotes the formation of myelin sheaths and affects the potentiation of GABA, which allows you to have an active relaxation state. Okay, it modulates oxytocin receptor binding in the hypothalamus, really, really important. Helps maintain a pregnancy involved in ovulation. It protects breast health and helps promote implantation of the egg. It's an anti-inflammatory. It's also a diuretic. It's an immune builder. It increases scalp hair, increases your metabolic rate. It helps your body use and eliminate fats, relaxes the smooth muscle. It enhances the action of thyroid hormone, heard that one, and helps restore proper cell oxygen levels. It promotes Th2 immunity and induces the conversion of E1, is in the form of estrogen, to inactive E1S form. Progesterone can be shown in these ways to be deficient through anxiety and decreased HDL, or good cholesterol, high density lipoproteins, decreased libido, depression, excessive menstruation. That's where we find the crossover in the wording that we'll see later. Hypersensitivity, and not giving that space to be able to think and respond to the drive. Insomnia, irritability, miscarriage, and this was again one of the places that we first discovered the miracle of this molecule. Migraine headaches associated with menstrual cycles, mood swings, nervousness, osteopenia and osteoporosis, pain and inflammation, and weight gain. So some causes of deficiency, you'd say, like, this is a natural hormone, so why might I be deficient in it? What are some reasons that I might have a progesterone deficiency? And these are some causes of deficiency that we found. Taking antidepressants can cause a progesterone deficiency, hypothyroidism, deficiency of vitamins like vitamin A, B6, C, and zinc, excessive arginine consumption, impaired production due to increased prolactin levels can have decreased progesterone. Saturated fat intake, stress, high sugar intake, and just the natural aging processes. And so we do have recommended dosing for natural replacement with testing and supervision by your medical professional. And these are the recommended dosings that are listed. So if we think about food, and we always say food is our medicine, right? And think about natural molecules, we think about this quote, which I really like, is from The Brushstrokes of a Gadfly. Food is not simply organic fuel to keep body and soul together, which it is. It's just not simply that. It is also perishable art that must be savored at the peak of perfection. So knowing that there's this much importance in the way that what we put into our body is incorporated, we also want to be very cognizant about what that is. Okay, so why do we always want to use natural progesterone? Always use natural progesterone if we're going by anything that Jenna just said in the other slides, because progesterone, O-N-E, is a natural molecule that is produced throughout your body. So natural progesterone is going to heat all of those things we just talked about. Synthetic progesterone is called progestin in progestin. Watch that really closely because a lot of the literature just switches them back and forth. And its use can cause any of the following signs and symptoms: acne, bloating, breakthrough bleeding, spotting, breast tenderness. It counteracts many of the positive effects that estrogen has on serotonin. It decreases energy, decreases sexual interest, lowers HDL, depression, fluid retention, hair loss, headaches, increased appetite, raises LDL, insomnia, irritability, nausea. It protects the uterus but not the breast from cancer, rashes. It increases the risk of developing breast cancer, weight gain, remains at the receptor sites much longer than natural progesterone. The patient may experience any of the symptoms discussed below of too much when progesterone is prescribed. So signs and symptoms of elevated levels of progesterone show incontinence, laxity of ligaments, which can lead to back aches, leg aches, and achy hips, decreased glucose tolerance, and therefore it can increase blood sugar. It lowers growth hormone, increases appetite, increases carbohydrate cravings, increases cortisol, fat storage, relaxes smooth muscle of the gut, and may cause bloating, fullness, and constipation, increases the risk of gallstones, and suppresses the immune system. So when you have too much of progesterone, you see the second half, too much of progesterone, you see the far effects of when you have too much of that molecule, right? You see the same biological functions being played forward to their extreme. Whereas progestin, you actually see the same issues as if you were to not have progesterone in almost every case except one at the uterus. So really, really interesting to show that this molecule really does not behave in the same way. And it's very interesting to me that they're even utilized right next to each other with such similar sounding names and interchanged so much by looking at this. So progesterone can be increased. Some patients just really need a multivitamin. They need to eat better. They need to get the nutrients that are needed to synthesize progesterone. Okay, so sometimes there's a replacement needed, but sometimes we just need to synthesize more of our own. And the only reason that you would have elevated levels is if you have a dose of progesterone that has been too high, or if the patient's taking pregnenolone and the pregnenolone is too high. That's in some over-the-counter diet pills from a long time ago had some of this in there, and we didn't really start looking for how much that was affecting all of the other hormones because over the counter we didn't really see how many people were utilizing those things hormonally. So that's just something to watch out for. Progesterone has some therapeutic benefits. The therapeutic benefits are that it decreases the risk of breast cancer by balancing estrogen. And also with balancing estrogen, you see that you've decreased anxiety disorder, you've decreased insomnia, you have prevention of heart disease, and it increases the beneficial effects that estrogen has on blood vessels. Blood vessels are actually where most of your biological age matches up with your health status. So it's really interesting to see that that's one of the main effects. Weight loss, because it increases metabolic rate and helps the body use and eliminate its fats. And it's also a diuretic. So hair loss increases, it helps to increase scalp hair. It helps with depression. It's an anti-inflammatory. It helps with hypercholesteremia, hypertension, osteopenia, and osteoporosis, multiple sclerosis, because it promotes myelination. So protection of those nerve fibers. And post-stroke, it protects the myelin sheaths. It also improves sexual dysfunction. Progesterone is also present in men. It acts a little bit differently, but you'll see a lot of these functions are the same functions of progesterone in the man is mainly looking at the 5-alpha reductase inhibition. It helps with myelination. It influences spermiogenesis. It blocks gonadotropin secretion, sleep improvement, affects the potentiation of GABA, neuroprotective. It's immunoprotective, cardioprotective. It's got a calming effect. And so we can utilize this information to apply the thought process of how progesterone will be utilized in a male, okay? So this is the main point, and we're gonna take a little break and split this into two right after I make this main point and give you some information as to where to find these molecules. And this is the main point about everything. Progestin is over here. These are some progestins. Look at those structures. There's progesterone. Look at that structure. There you go, not equal, okay? So by using some intelligence, we can understand that they're unequal, but we have to use some integrity to understand how we're going to utilize the information now that we know that these things are not equal. So we're gonna stop the recording for now and pick right back.